Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy that you made it until now with this unbelievable weather at BSides Vienna. So it's really, I'm really happy to see all of the people of the audience here. And thank you for the amazing introduction. So as mentioned before, we will discuss today the technologies and the ideas about deception. But what is deception? To understand and to try to implement it correctly and to see how it's effective in defending companies in different sectors, in different areas. And this is our topic today. Allow me also to give you an introduction about our agenda today. As you can see, we will have a quick introduction about myself. After that, we will discuss and understand the methodology and the meaning of deception, what is deceptive or deceptive techniques, and how to implement it to secure the environments inside different sectors, to see different methodologies, different examples, and to see how easy it is to make a trap for different attackers and APTs inside our company or our sector. And this is also including some proof of concepts, screenshots, specific websites in order to make the deception much more successful than we think. Yes, as mentioned before about myself, my name is Ahmed Hassan. I am since almost 7 to 8 years in the cybersecurity field, working as a penetration tester and cybersecurity engineer, trying to make the companies in different sectors much more secure, to detect different vulnerabilities, detect any kind of vulnerabilities in order to make them more secure and that they do not have any other vulnerabilities inside their infrastructure. Besides that, I had the honor to be a speaker in different conferences inside of Austria, also outside of Austria, in Bahrain, in USA, in Saudi Arabia, with the honor of also representing Austria as a country with His Excellency, the Austrian ambassador in Saudi Arabia, as well as the other countries as well. Yeah, I think these are also some of my achievements with the certifications. But this is not really important, as today we want to discuss the deception technologies and the topic which we will try to dive much more into it in order to make our company much more secure. Yes, so what is a deception technique, or what is a decoy, for example? So we pretend, for example, that we have a company, and this company tries to make its own infrastructure much more secure, that they do not have any vulnerabilities, any kind of misconfiguration. So no attacker, if he or she is outside the organization or inside the organization, can exploit a specific weakness. And the main idea behind deception techniques, it is that we are trying to implement intentionally some misconfigurations, some vulnerabilities inside the own infrastructure in order to make the attacker feel like he got a specific high vulnerability, high exploit, and he doesn't know that we are monitoring all these kind of tracks, all this kind of exploitation in order to be able to catch the attacker as soon as possible or as early as possible. And as you can see here, we have different ideas, different techniques, how we can implement our deception techniques, as you can see here, like credentials, clear text credentials in specific areas, like a description for a specific user, like make or put a default credential in a specific area where an attacker is normally searching for. And this is just a specific or a normal theory, which we will see in our next slides in detail together. Yes, so nowadays, the companies are much more aware how they are protecting their perimeter, their like external assets, and this is very, very good. But 2 points, most of the companies does not really good. They do not like monitor, for example, the leaked credentials, which is really, really like happening nowadays a lot, and a lot of attackers are using these leaked credentials a lot in order to make it inside the company. And the second point is that they are using legitimate tools. And these legitimate tools are, for example, PowerShell. PowerShell is normally running on every device in every organization, but the point is it's not monitored as it should be. And by that, the attacker is simply able to recognize that PowerShell is installed in the company and use it. And this is also some of our ideas how we can implement deception techniques, because as we can identify here, for example, for a specific username, email address, whatever we are searching for, we can identify that a specific password has been leaked. And by that, the attacker will simply search for that, and after that, try to log in into a specific asset of our company. So when we think about it, we can make a simple deception technique that we implement a vulnerable user, intentionally vulnerable user, with this leaked credential in order to monitor it and wait until the attacker is being able to log in with that. And as soon as the user, or the attacker in this case, logs in with this leaked credentials, we have like a click in our mind, and our monitoring systems knows someone is trying to access our internal or external asset. And this is just a simple idea how we can implement deception techniques in our organization or in the sector we are trying to secure. Okay, as you can see here, to just have a better idea and understand the deception technologies, we can see here, for example, we can implement, for example, fake accounts, fake usernames, clear text credentials inside the Active Directory or even outside the Active Directory for normal web applications, giving the attacker a simple hint that when he logs in and get access to this account or web application, he has done a great job. But this is exactly the opposite of it. We are monitoring it. We are trying to detect his behavior before he try to like attack a real service, a real server, or a real asset inside our company or inside the sector generally. And after that, as you can see here, we have, for example, a user who is like legitimate, but it's intentionally made vulnerable in order to, the next step, to monitor and get alerts and detect the attacker before he tries to attack real servers or real assets inside the company. Okay, so I think we have a lot of technical people here, but of course we have also management people. And in order to give you a better understanding how an attacker is working, we need to understand 3 or even much more steps an attacker is going to do always in order to achieve the highest privilege inside any company and to hack it. So first of all, we start our attack with something called the reconnaissance. And this part is made for gathering information, like trying simple logins, trying to get specific information from the Active Directory, specific usernames, password. This is just the simple start of our attack. After that, when the user got all the needed information, he is trying to do something called the privilege escalation. And the privilege escalation is simply trying to getting higher privileges, getting higher privileges on other systems as well, in order to collect much more information and try to make our target even much more than the company knows, okay? And after that, we get to the lateral movement part. And this is here where we are trying to get other users, like higher users with administrative privileges, in order to have a full control over the system or over the network in general. These are the different techniques or steps for an attacker to follow. And for that, when we try, for example, to put deception techniques, we try to put different deception techniques in every step of them. So we have, for example, the reconnaissance part. Here we try to implement a deception technique, or even much more. We have the second one, the privilege escalation part. We try to implement another deception technique. And at the lateral movement, at the same point, in order to try to detect the attacker, in every step, he is trying to target the company, and in order to detect him as early as possible. Okay, so we have understood now the main idea, the main methodology behind the deception techniques. And now we are going to discuss different like examples or real-world scenarios, how we can implement deception techniques inside the environment. For example, we have a website called canarytokens.org, okay? And this website is implemented and creating for creating specific documents, Word documents, Amazon documents, etc. A huge amount of possibilities. And what I did here, for an example, I created a simple Word document, and this Word document is containing like a specific information. And when we open it, or the attacker in this case opens this document, we will immediately get an alert. As you can see here, up on the side, you can see this canary token has been triggered one time. So in this case, we simply know that the attacker has opened the Word document. And the point is, when we implement this Word document, normally we can put in a username and a clear text password. And this means, or name it, as you can see here, password document, in order to make it like fishy or interesting for an attacker to open it. And the attacker is simply trying to get access to these documents, exactly these, like a password file, an Excel file with simple login information, a Word document with the name of login credentials. This makes it really interesting for an attacker, as it's an easy way for him to get access to high critical information. And the point is, as soon as the attacker opens this document, you can see here, I have redacted, of course, the IP address of the PC. Opened this document. You can see the date, the time, and also, very sensitive, the location, because some of our companies have geolocation activated. That means, for example, if an attacker is opening the website from Russia, I automatically got the point that this is an attacker, because we have geolocation activated, or we are not allowing any user to open it from any other country outside of Austria. And this makes the point much more clear that we have an incident and somebody is trying to access our infrastructure. Yes. So the other point, what we are trying to implement here, as you can see, we have specific tools which generates a lot of information, like the domain users, the groups of the Active Directory. And also, to be clear, the Active Directory is a simple management system allowing system administrators to administrate the users inside the company, because if you have 10,000, 100,000 PCs, laptops, printers, etc., it's not really easy for a sysadmin or a system administrator to have an overview over that. And this makes the life much more easier for him to have an administrative position, to have an overview over all the users. And to be honest, a lot of attackers and hackers are using this tool in order to have a simple overview over the users used, the groups, the description, which is on the other side here, as you can see here. And a really bad point that a lot of system administrators are doing, that they are using in the description the clear text password of a user. And this is sometimes, or 99% of the time, used by the attacker because he is simply going to extract this HTML report and try to find and search the description fields to identify if our lovely system administrator puts in any clear text credential inside the description field. And from our side, we will help the attacker. We will help him and put like a new deception technique. We will implement a fishy or an interesting username, as you can see here, the backup admin, which is normally having administrator privileges. We will make the user or the attacker think, yeah, I got now a really good administrator account with a really easy password, as you can see here, administrator. And this will make the attacker think he got the highest privileges in the domain, and will simply try to log in with this username and with this password. But what does the attacker not know? That we are trying to monitor that. We will have different monitor solutions, like monitoring solutions, in order to detect the attacker as soon as he tries to log in to this system. And by that, we immediately know that this user, in order to try to get access to the environment, is an attacker, because normally you will not have access to this information if you are a normal user. A normal user will not create an HTML report, try to find the different description fields and the username, and try to log in to this account. So this is also a new methodology to implement in order to try to catch the attacker before he targets new real services and new real systems in the environment. Yes, so we have discussed until now some ideas how we are trying to implement specific decoys or deception techniques. But the point is, we need to be like aware that the attacker is also trying to understand your mindset. When he sees like a username with admin and the password admin, he will simply immediately understand this is a trap. This is immediately have been done like intentionally in order to try to detect him. So we need to be aware how we like implement deception techniques. We need to make the passwords, for example, much more secure or much more complex in order to give him like the feeling this is a real username, this is a real administrator, and we can try this username and this password. And this is exactly the idea behind this slide. We need to understand how we are trying to implement our deception techniques. Okay. So until now, we have understood like manual implementations of the deception techniques, but we have a wonderful tool called Fake Hound. And this tool is intentionally created for like system administrators or security teams in order to implement intentionally vulnerable systems inside the company in order to make the life much more easier for an attacker, but also for us in order to try to detect him and catch him before he exploits a specific vulnerability inside our real systems. So this is also like an automation or a process for automating implementing deception techniques. Great. We have also other ideas in order to be able to monitor these implementations with our SIM solutions, like you can see here, Microsoft Defender as an example. Of course, you may have other systems as well, have other like SIM solutions or SIM solution ideas. And this makes also the life much more easier in order, as you can see here, to get alerts, for example, through Slack, through email, through whatever you need or whatever you want. Also to map it to our lovely MITRE ATT&CK system or MITRE ATT&CK techniques to be able to understand, is this a real APT group? Is this a real attacker? And to understand the ideas behind our lovely attacker here. Great. So in our case here, you can see we have, like, when we are trying to protect the company, we have simply always trying to be continuous implementing and improving our system. And this is exactly what we are trying to do when we implement deception techniques. We try to make it better, implement new techniques, be updated with the techniques the attackers are using, and by that, adapting our deception techniques in the company or in the sector. Yes, so as you can see here, this is a simple statistics or a simple way how we can see the life is much more easier for the defender when we have deception techniques implemented. For example, when we have a look at the initial access, this is the part where an attacker trying to get access inside the company, we can detect him easier when we have deception techniques inside our company, because we will monitor that, we will see him, we will block him, and we will stop him. This is exactly what we are trying to achieve. Exactly here also at the privilege escalation part, at the lateral movement, as well as the exfiltration, we have simple, intentionally implemented deception techniques, which will give us a simple hint that there is somebody trying to exploit a specific thing. And by that, we will get his IP address, we will stop him, block him, and save our company and the infrastructure from an attacker to get access to that. Yes. This is also a simple idea, but it's not really complicated. There's a specific tool called Bloodhound, and this tool is made specifically for Active Directory to have specific graphs and show also the different privileges a specific user has. And by that, we can implement this as well in our deception techniques in order to give like a specific user high privileges intentionally to give the attacker the feeling he got a specific vulnerable user to test on, and we can try to detect him. Exactly, this is what I have mentioned before, that a specific user is made vulnerable intentionally in our Active Directory with a fishy, intentionally lovely name like administrator, backup admin, whatever. In order to be able to monitor that and to catch our attacker. Other ideas as well. This is our VPN user, and we know that every company is now having virtual private networks, VPNs, and what we love to do when we have VPNs in our company, we are trying to create a vulnerable username or a VPN user and like protect him and put him in a separate VLAN and leak, for example, the username and password in the internal network of the company and try to see who will log in or use this VPN user. As soon as we have an alert through our monitoring systems, we know immediately someone is trying to log into our systems. We have to act quickly and stop or block this user in order to make the life much more easier for us. And the point is, this VPN like tunnel is not containing anything else. He is alone in the VPN. He is like separated in a separate VLAN, nothing inside. But he thinks he got something, but we are trying or we are carefully monitoring his behavior, his scanning tools, everything. And by that, we can simply stop him before he even thinks that he is going to attack our company. Yes, this is also one part, maybe I have mentioned it before. We need to make clear and like the password policy of our deception techniques, like with high complexity, really complex in order to give the feeling for an attacker that this password is real, like not 123 as a password. This is easy. And this might get caught by the attacker. We need to make complex passwords with 12 characters, with symbols, whatever, in order to make it like feel realistic for an attacker, and that the attacker is going to use this one. Okay, one idea which might be a little bit complicated, that some of the companies are using or creating web servers with or containing default credentials like administrator or admin, and give like the attacker a hint that this is a monitoring tool for Active Directory, for example. And by that, the user will immediately, the attacker will immediately think he will get access to a monitoring tool with all the Active Directory users, descriptions, active time, everything. But this is exactly the opposite of that. When he tries to log in, he will see or she will see a blank website with nothing. And that means that we got our point, we got success because he used the username and password, and by that we are able to monitor him before he even tries to access any other sensitive system. Yes, this is also another point I have mentioned before, but this is a second part. We can implement specific documents like Excel, like Word, like PDF, whatever you want, or whatever you have in mind, containing passwords, containing sensitive information. And as mentioned before, this is the lovely website, canarytokens.org. And as soon as the attacker opens this website, he will simply see nothing or see a specific message, but we are immediately having the information that somebody is trying to hack inside the company and get access to sensitive information. Yes, so when we are discussing the Active Directory, there's a specific vulnerability or exploit called Kerberoasting. We will not discuss it in deep, but this is also a specific topic. We can implement a specific request and response in order to monitor everything is happening through an attacker. And when he is trying to request a specific ticket, I mean, it's a little bit technical, but this is also, just keep it in your mind if you are aware of Active Directory and its ideas. It may be also help you when you make like a fake SPN account, but as mentioned, this is not really the part of our presentation. Yes, so also a good idea is that we can make jump servers and VPN credentials, as mentioned before, and try to implement it and let the user do RDP or remote desktop protocol connections to it. And we are trying to have the best monitoring systems in the infrastructure in order to keep it monitored, keep it protected, and to catch the attacker as soon as possible. And when we are discussing deception techniques, we can implement different techniques, 3, 4, 5 together in order to make the attacker not understand that these are deception techniques, to make it feel, yeah, he got a lot of low-hanging fruits and he got access to a lot of systems and clear text credentials, etc. And also a good point to just mention that you can create a specific Active Directory certificate service. And this is just for creating services like certificates, and this is really or made intentionally vulnerable in order to give the attacker like high privileges and access to sensitive information. By that, I have reached the end of my presentation. I hope it was informative, it was new for you. You enjoyed the session, of course. If you have any questions, please feel free anytime, now or even on LinkedIn. I would love to stay connected with you, as the audience in Austria and Vienna is very small. Yes, thank you for attending my session, and please feel free if you have any questions.